In today's video, we're talking about the best way to recover from COVID-19.
Absolutely. So I'm known as Steve the Finance Guy. So I am originally from Cleveland, Ohio. I graduated with my finance degree from Georgia State, and so with it, I've been really keying on assisting people with their credit. 100%. I think that's probably been I've been in the industry for about 5 years now, and so being able to get people to the scores that they need, so they don't have to be lucky to get things, they can be entitled with the score. So
Yes.
banks can use their scores to be able to say, hey, I trust you, right? I don't know you, but I trust you. So my job is to make sure that your credit profile for Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, your credit profile looks well enough to get you approved for whatever you need. So we don't got to pray about it. We ain't got to, you know what I mean? We ain't got to do all those things. We're supposed to have these things, right? And so that's my job. That's what I do.
So I was kind of explaining to them I just kind of wanted to skip through the point of, how we got into or how they may have gotten into the situation of bad credit or poor
Sure.
credit or everything. Just really just skip to, we know how we got here. We know that
We
maybe it was
know
just
we know we didn't pay
misinformation, right?
it. We
So
know.
just wanting to get straight to the point of how we can move forward through this.
Sure.
So if a
Sure.
person is feeling overwhelmed in debt, what could they do?
So there are plenty of things to do. If we're talking about debt, we could do one or two things. We can consolidate. That's probably the easiest thing as far as debt, putting everything and making it, instead of having 5, 6, 7 loans out there, we're all gaining interest on them. We can consolidate into one loan to that's only getting interest. So that's probably the easiest thing to do when we have multiple things. You can get with a credit repair specialist like myself, and so we can remove some of those things, or potentially argue some of those things legally to be able to get those things off your report. And that would ultimately, a lot of times when you have debt, whether you owe it or not, it's good to get them removed off your report, because it'll lower your debt to income ratio. And so it won't show when you apply for other things, and you can possibly get approved. I mean, you have a much better chance of getting approved at that point.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as debt, those are the few things, the easiest things to do without getting it too complicated. You know what I mean? Without making
Okay.
it too complicated.
So as they're working on repairing their credit, what's a good score? What score should they be trying to achieve? What's good or medium or great?
So you want to get to, so I always welcome people to the 600 club. You know what I mean? If you haven't been there, a lot of people have never been there. You know what I mean? So a lot of people have been in them fours and them fives for their whole life. And you know what I mean? So I always say, first thing, you want to take baby steps. And let's get to the 600 club. You know what I mean? Let's do it. And then from there, we can look at it and see what we can add, what else can be removed, what other accounts, because the 600 club gets you approved, right? You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So that's what you want to get in the 600, because that's where they first loan you your house. That's when they first get you your car without having a co-signer. That's when you can get your first credit card. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I'm talking from that standpoint, you want to get the 600 club. Now, the goal, where I want everybody to feel what I'm feeling. We gotta get in these 700s and above. That's when
Mm-hmm.
you out here choosing. You know what I mean? So, but it depends on where you at. If you at 600, let's work on 7. If you at 5, 4, let's work on 6.
Yes, I like that. I like it taking it as baby steps, because when you're at like 450 and you're telling someone, "Oh, you need to be at 800 or 700,"
800,
that seems so
right?
far away.
And it leaves you so complacent to where you like, now you don't even move. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, no, that ain't my life. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So spoken from somebody who started in the fours and all that stuff, because I just didn't understand. You 100%. I was excited when I got to the sixes, y'all. You couldn't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? So trust me. For some people, just to get to that six, and I was that some people, is the goal. You know what I mean? And then
Right.
once you reach there, then you go to the next goal. That's it.
Right. So, how often should someone review their credit report?
Every month.
So, every month.
Every month. You wanna. I like so. If you're not constantly applying for things and if you're growing your credit, I always say go to get one of those software companies, Identity IQ, um, Score Sense, Experian, because when you're in the process of growing, you need to always see what's coming on, what's coming off. If you're paying down something, if you're, you know what I mean, if you're if you already have a standard amount of where you are, then you can stay with Credit Karma. Credit Karma is a free service, but Credit Karma is always late to the party, right? They're always late, right? They get the information last.
Okay.
But if you don't have things moving a lot, you just stay with Credit Karma. You stay with Credit Karma. But if you're trying to grow and you're trying to build, then I definitely recommend paying like $20 a month and going with any of those services that alert you every month. So it alerts you when things happen, when things doesn't happen, if something moves, if you pay something down, you know what I mean? So you can constantly be aware of your score, 100%.
I would say, from my experience working, because I deal with a lot of buyers, it is the
You
most
do.
exciting thing for buyers when we're working towards them becoming a homeowner, and they're in
Mhm.
like that credit repair phase, and they watch their
Absolutely.
score increase. That is so much motivation for them, and it's so exciting when that happens.
When you
So
see that arrow go up, that's it. It's
mhm,
life. It makes you you want to show people, you want to post it, you want to
right,
all that. Yeah, absolutely.
right. So a lot of folks either have already received or will be receiving the stimulus money on average, this $1,200 or more. What can they do? I'm not going to say I don't say use 100% because I like to be realistic. You get a little money and people want to maybe splurge on themselves a little bit. So realistically, what can they do with a portion of that money?
So realistically, right? So this is what I say. This is what I say, and it's very simple. Invest totally in yourself, right? You have to get your credit fixed right now. You have to pay. I mean, I'm right around 500, depending on that's like the going rate, right? You want to pay, so whatever your credit repair specialist is, you have to pay to get your credit right now. You have to. It's not even there's only because you know what, I would agree with you, and this is such a good question, right? Because we were talking about it, we were having like so many discussions on it. I would agree with you normally, right? It says people they need to take care of themselves right now. They need to, they'll spend. So a lot of times we get our income tax. That's usually the funds that we have to travel, right? That's usually the funds that we have to splurge, and we'll go to the mall and we'll do this. It's none of that going on right now, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? So we're splurging. What we splurging on? Groceries, Amazon, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
there's nothing to really splurge on. So this is legit giving you an opportunity to take the money and literally invest in yourself. If you never got into stocks, learn about it. If you always wanted to take a course, take it. If you always wanted to work out or do whatever, this is the moment where we have the most precious thing on earth that we always say we need is time.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So and so how do you utilize time, right? So this is a great time where a lot of things are frozen. So this is a great time to get your credit fixed. You know what I'm saying? Because it's tough to do a lot of things. So you got to get your credit fixed right now, because what happens is because of Corona, right? Because of the virus, the way the banks are set up, a lot of people are going to be defaulting on their homes, and they're going to be defaulting on a lot of things, right? So in order to purchase something new here on out, your credit score has to be A1, right? So all those loans that we used to get for 580 all those 620 loans, like even though I said 620 is your 600 score for sure, but all that stuff, that's going to be out the window because it's going to
Yep.
you're going to be strictly credit based, right? Banks have to be, they have to be extremely careful about who they lend to. They have to now because it's so many defaults.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so you know, to answer your question, I mean, I hope I answered it. Um, ain't nobody splurging. That's over with.
Right.
Everything they got, we should have got. We should have had it before. No.
So Marissa was asking if you could name those credit companies again to
Sure, Marissa.
keep the update.
Uh-huh. Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, and this is another reason why I always recommend getting one of those companies. I'm glad she asked that. It's another reason why I recommend getting one of those like credit monitoring companies. Is because Credit Karma, the one that everyone uses, only keeps track of Equifax and TransUnion. So Experian, the one that's probably the most important because that keeps track of your FICO score as well, and which is really important when you try to purchase a home and stuff. Experian is not with Karma. I don't know if it's a contract issue or whatever, but they're not with Credit Karma. So you can legit know what two scores is, but there's a whole nother score and credit report you have no access to. That's probably the most important.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So just to be clear, like, so in terms of someone like repairing their credit and they want to do it on their own, is that something that you recommend?
No, I don't recommend that. And that has nothing to do with me being in the industry. I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend somebody going to court by themselves, right, without an attorney. I wouldn't recommend, you know what I mean? If you don't understand,
hiring a real estate agent.
I would recommend buying a house without understanding the laws that go into, right, 100%. Because what happens is it possible? Yes, absolutely, anything's possible, right? So I would never tell nobody it isn't. But if you don't understand the legal, you have to associate risk versus reward, right? And so you're at a extremely higher risk with losing time and losing money by going to these bureaus because you're going against large companies that say you owe them money without understanding the laws associated with why things are the way they are. So, and the reason why I say that is that a lot of people think Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, they work with the government. They don't. They are all three different businesses, right? They are business entities. And so because they have large impacts on our lives, they aren't government sanctioned. So the government has laws, right, that are just for us as consumers, right? And if you don't know these laws, and if you don't know how to legally get things removed and get things removed forever, right? Then you're putting your own self at risk, not understanding these, and you'll just get abused by the big companies over and over again. So 100%.
Okay. So when looking for a credit repair company, like what should I see a lot of different companies out there. If you Google a bunch of
we out here.
How can they find or what should they look for a good credit repair company?
I'll tell you what you don't look for. Right. I tell you what you stay away from, right? Get rich quick. Right. You know what I mean? Like anything that can happen. I can get your whole credit sweeps in 10 days. I can get you, like, I mean, you have to think nothing. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. That's the biggest thing, right? You want a company who doesn't treat you like a number. You want somebody who can do a complete credit evaluation, right? And look at your score and treat you like an individual and can go through it and give you a good credit audit, right? What happens with credit repair companies is that a lot of them are fighting to get your service by getting things off faster, right? And so, but it doesn't mean it'll stay off, right? So you want people who are going to be completely honest with you, and because, for instance, if it took you 20 years, right, to mess up your credit, why in the world would you think it's going to take 2 weeks to get it perfect? It's just not, right? And so you just have to be okay with that, right? You know what I mean? So you have to be okay with going on the journey, right? And getting, and literally, I would say a good credit repair company, I swear, it's 6 months. If you can, you know what I mean? If you can say, all right, if it's that bad, I mean, obviously it's different variables per person, but I'm thinking worst case scenario. If you can give yourself, I remember for me when I was at 500 or whatever, where I was at that score, to get me to where I was at like 650 comfortably, it took me about a year,
Hmm.
right? But as I look back, that's what you want, right? You tell yourself, I want to invest a year in my life to get
Yeah.
myself back on track. You know what I mean? And so as long as you can get with a good credit repair company that's willing to invest the time with you to lead you, because it's not just deleting items, it's knowing what items to put on. You know what I mean? It's knowing what accounts to add that to get this score to where you need it to. That's associated to the goals that you want for your own life. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just like a real estate agent, just like having, I mean, which I know you are, just like having a good a good banker, a good attorney. You want somebody that's willing to go with you on the journey that's associated with the goals that you have, and it can treat you like an individual and not just a number.
So should people buy trade lines?
You said what now?
I see on my timeline a lot where people are offering services where you can buy a trade line. Should people do this?
Yes, yes, that's a great. It's a. I mean, obviously, you want to go with a reputable person or whatever, but that is a cultural thing that's been going on forever. If you can find a family member and get it for free, I suggest do it.
Okay.
So, but but even that, right? That's all associated to your goals, because what happens is, most when you purchase a trade line, most of the time you're asking for someone who has a really good score. I mean, I'm sorry, a really good credit card that has a really high limit and a low balance, and a lot of years on it, to add to your credit profile. Now, most of the time when you purchase a trade line, you're only having it for about 2 or 3 months. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Because when you're purchasing trade lines, people are using it as a business, and they're just adding and taking people off. So they're not going to keep you on there for a long time. Because
Okay.
it doesn't benefit them, right? So what happens is, that's why your goals, when you purchase a trade line, it has to be associated with your goals. So the best time to purchase a trade line is if you're applying for a loan and you need a quick boost, because
Okay.
it does help your score, right? If you're
Mhm.
if you're applying if you're applying for a home and you want a quick boost, right? You got to get that 650 score, or you got to get that 620 to qualify, or that 680 to qualify for down payment assistance, right? Then you would pay for that trade line, which is usually between, I mean, a good one between $600 and $1,500, like around that range, depending on how much, depending on how less. I'm sorry. And then so that's usually a really good opportunity. It depends on the goals associated with it. But if you have a family member that you want, and they just want to help you out, and they have a really good credit card, and you ask them, because it's literally the reason why people can sell trade lines, because they recognize it's at zero risk to the card holder, to the
Yeah.
card owner, right? So if you have a family member and you say, as long as they understand, you know what I mean, it's at zero risk to them, then and they can add you. That'll be a perfect opportunity.
Yeah. And if you guys have kids, this is a great way to help build, your teenager credit score so that when they are ready to make purchases, they've already had established credit.
Excellent point. If I was to, I don't mean to cut you off.
That's okay.
Excellent point. Right. I wanted to harp on that for a second. So what happens is, culturally, we've been behind on that, right? It's what happens where, if we have any children that's going to college, you would want to do this, right? You would want to take out a card, $1,000 limit, $2,000 limit, right? And we want to, and you want to buy things like gas, something small just to maintain it, but you never give the college kid the card, right? And then so what happens is, you add them on as an authorized user. So by the time they graduate after them 4 years, they're coming out with a 700, 750 credit score with excellent history for 4 years of paying on this card. You know what I mean? And that's something that, you know what I mean, that we just haven't taken advantage of and really understood the absolute value of doing that. But I'm here to give all the secrets. Let's do
Yes.
it. Yeah, man. Let's do it.
I do have a couple more questions for you. Do you
Sure
work
thing.
with business credit and help people build business credit?
We do. So we go through a series of different business credit options where you're going through Experian business, we're going through Equifax business, or Dun and Bradstreet, being able to have your your business number and be able to also give you trade lines. But those are it's a lot of different ways for business credit, which can be is relatively easy because I've been in the game. But I do, to answer your question, yes, we do that as well.
Because Ruth Chris just got $20 million
Yo, crazy, crazy. I know it.
through the SBA. So we want to make sure that when another wave of funding comes through as business owners, we are prepared.
So unfortunately, I have a lot of connections within the banks. One of my best friends is a bank manager at Bank of America in Atlanta, here in Atlanta. Well, I'm actually in Cleveland now, but in Atlanta. And then through other contacts, and we've been filling out loans for people for the PPP SBA loans. We've been doing it left and right. And what he pretty much told me, and then watching all the news, is that the small business loans are dedicated to a lot of the franchises, right? Because what happens is, because they have, even though they're a large corporation as a whole, the individual franchises, right, are going to benefit the most because they have 100 employees or less.
Right.
So we're at the short end of the stick of that. And so I tell people to apply because it doesn't take a long time. But honestly, if you don't have a CPA, and if you don't have the financial structure, right, to be able to show, your 100 employees, your employees and everything else, we're at the bottom of the totem pole for all that stuff, at the very bottom. They're working on other things, but the franchisees and stuff like that are the ones, unfortunately, will get the bulk of the money, which I think is ridiculous because they're not the ones who hold up our communities,
Right.
in our local neighborhoods. So that's just that's the intel that I got. So I'm just telling you, and we can tell based off that Ruth Chris 20 million exactly where the money's going.
Right. So someone asked the commercial for Experian Boost. Can you explain how that works? Is it similar to what you just explained?
No, I didn't know. It's something totally different. It does age your score. So basically, Experian Boost, which is good, it's a good company. It definitely helps your Experian score when you sign up. All it does is it tallies. It connects to your bank account, and it sees all the local bills that you pay monthly. And because you pay these local bills, a lot of these companies that we pay to, they report to the bureaus anyway, and you wouldn't know it. So they'll give you credit for that, for paying on time monthly to these companies, electric bill, cable, cell phone, and they'll give you credit for that, and it'll boost your score. Okay.
So if you guys don't know, you can receive a free credit report at least once a year through annualcreditreport.com. So you can take advantage.
Hey, I hear you.
So is there anything that you want to mention to everyone that maybe I didn't ask?
No, you was on it. You was on it. No, I mean, honestly, it's just being able to find that company that that makes sense. Honestly, I mean, find that company. I just think you have to do it. You 100% have to. I don't have it. It's in there. I don't think you have to. Just don't try to do it on your own. I would just harp on that. Honestly,
Okay.
I would harp on you just not doing credit on your own, and really paying a professional to go in and getting that done for you.
Okay.
100%. I mean, that's the only thing I would jump on. It's just the time, y'all.
So how can they get in contact with you?
Me? You can follow me. You can follow me at Steve the Finance Guy on Instagram. You can DM me. My website is newcreditfinancial.com. Newcreditfinancial.com. Or I'm gonna put my phone number on there, y'all. My work number. Y'all can call me directly. 770-568-4339. I don't know if you can type that in somewhere so they can get it. But
Say it one more time, 770.
568-4339. I answer all of my texts. I answer all of my phone calls. You'll get with me, and I'll make sure you're taken care of, whether you're talking to me or a staff member. 100%.
Okay.
And we got to get these credit scores up so you can get your loans approved, and you can go to my homegirl, and she can. You know what I mean? We got to get your loans. We got to get them all. We got to get all these. We got to make these home buyers.
All right. Well, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us. I hope we answer all of your questions. You have Steve's contact information to get in contact with him. You can send me a direct message or give me a call as well. I'm happy. People call all the time looking for answers, so I'm available. And enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
I know it. I know it. Look at the house I'm looking at. Hold on. So I want you to see how I can put this.
So he's here from Atlanta looking at Cleveland houses because Cleveland has a really good investment market as well.
Right. So yeah, I'm here. All right, go ahead. Good seeing you guys. Good talking to you guys. Anything you need, you can call me.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.